Hi, hi, hi. I'm excited to be back with you teaching and training today. My favorite parts of the $1 million equation is truly not just breaking it down, but in showing exactly how each piece of the $1 million equation works. And so today, when I rebuilt my telephone company, my secret weapon wasn't chasing new customers. It wasn't getting new customers. It was winning back old ones and making sure that no one ever leaves. So I talk to you all the time about getting people to stay, pay, and refer. That's exactly what I did at the phone company. And I've got two case studies that I'm going to tell you about. Two of my private clients. One's a plumbing company. The other one is an optometrist, yes, an eye care company that they both had really, really, really solid bases, hired me to come in and get new customers. It's like, why are we doing that when you've got all of these, what I call acres of diamonds, right? If you ever read that book, if you haven't read that book, go get the book, Acres of Diamonds, because it talks about using the assets that you already have. The key part of the $1 million equation is to use the assets that you have available to you. Here's why. Okay. And this is something that's so important that I watch people screw up every single day. It's so important because oftentimes it is very difficult to leverage. Yes. Difficult to leverage when you are just learning. Hear me out. You buy a new software. It's supposed to do all of these things, but it takes you almost 2 years to get the software to do everything that they said, because it's very hard to leverage it in the beginning. You don't know all of the small idiosyncrasies, all of the ways that it doesn't really work. So that's why I love just using your existing assets, because once you have your existing assets, you can make it work. All right. Hold on just a second and we will go into the presentation this week. Go. All right. Hopefully, y'all can see it now. All right. How I rebuilt from zero twice with customers I already have. So, here is my favorite training, the fastest money in any business. And it's all based on that book right there, The $1 Million Equation. So, let me tell you, when I rebuilt back my telephone company, my secret weapon wasn't finding new customers, it was winning back the ones who left, right? Every business loses customers. Most write them off. I went and got mine back with one simple card. And I'll show you the actual card that I used, and you're not going to believe that I used it from a childhood game that you played, I bet you, once a week in your household. But reactivation isn't a tactic I read about, it's the thing that really saved me. So here it is. Here it is, the get out of jail free card. With this get out of jail free card, I sent it to every single person who had been disconnected. Okay. So, phone company, I'm billing every single month. If you don't pay your bill, I disconnect the service, right? Well, when I disconnected the service, then people would be like, oh my goodness, they felt like they couldn't come back. I'm like, I already have a group of people who know how we work, who trusted us once. I wonder if they would trust us again. So I printed this on an orange postcard and sent it and mailed it to their house. And I said, hey, here's your get out of jail free card. Come back to the phone company, come back to us. It's only one fee, it's $100, which was significantly less than what they owed me. And you can come back and be back on our service and have a phone this week. Not only did I do this all the time, right? I would wait 30 days. 30 days without a phone, it would make them itch. Now there's some urgency. And I had some customers that every 90 days, they would get this postcard every 90 days. And they thought that they were getting over on me. right? But the real key to this thing is that they weren't getting over on me. I was getting over on them because it cost me $8 to reconnect their service. I was charging them $100. It also cost me less than $5 a month to keep their service on. So their bill was $50. So every month that they paid, I made money. And that's how the business really grew so quickly, back to over $1 million, was that I just kept recycling these same customers over and over and over again. Reactivation is one of the secret weapons that if you do it correctly, you can really, really win. But here's what happens is that most people get mad and, oh, but they owe me. Well, they're probably not going to pay you anyway. If they do, you'll probably have to sue them or send them to collections. That's going to give you a discounted amount. And so that discounted amount was less than the $100. So that's how I figured out, well, I'm just going to go get them to pay me $100 and put them back on my service. And now I have monthly recurring income again. Again, how exciting is that? It's actually what changed the game. It truly changed the game. So how did my get out of jail free card go? Okay, here's exactly what I did, because today's lesson is exactly what we do, right? It's exactly what the implementation is. So I waited 30 days after they were disconnected. 2 is I sent them the get out of jail free postcard, orange cardstock. I bought it. I printed it on the orange cardstock. We cut it in 4s and put the postcard stamp on it. Everything was great. And I told them that I didn't care how much they owed, everything's waived. As long as they pay their activation fee, we would turn their service back on. Now, they'd need a new telephone number, but most of them didn't care about that anyway. And then that $100 was definitely way less than what they owed. Right? They were happy. I forgave a balance I probably wasn't going to collect anyway, and I turned a written off loss into a paying recurring customer. That is really fun. Reactivation. Fun, fun, fun. So here it is. Reactivation is the fastest money in your business. It costs far less to wake up somebody who already trusts you than to earn a brand new stranger who's like, who is this phone company? I don't know them. They're not on TV all the time, or they're not saying what my mother used to say was, you don't have Whitney Houston doing your commercials for you, which she used to do the commercials back in the day for AT&T. And they've already bought the hardest thing to sell, and that's trust. People don't trust you, right? Especially if they meet you on the internet. So the reason why I'm doing this series is truly just to get you to trust me, to show you I know what I'm talking about. And I'd love to show you even more. And I've got some free gifts for you, which if you've gotten our scorecard, then just tell me what your score is from the scorecard. If you haven't, then check the first comment. I believe it's there, or it's in the description of this video. But old school proof, right? The birthday card, the we miss you call, they've always worked. They've absolutely always worked to reactivate people. But here's the bonus, is that now we take it even further, is we make it fun. We make it funny. They all remember Monopoly. They all remember the get out of jail free card, and everybody wanted that card, right? So when I sent it to them freely, they thought I was a genius. Okay, so here, the new tools that are out there really can supercharge your reactivation campaign. So you can retarget the website visitor who didn't buy. They raised their hand that you never saw. But with having that pixel installed on your website, all of a sudden now you've got somebody that we can send ads to. Say, hey, you came back to the webinar, you came back to our website. Are you interested in buying again, right? Customized messaging to people who have come back to your website. That's new stuff that we can do. Know the exact point someone dropped off and reach them right there, right? So we have lots of tracking mechanisms inside of our CRMs so that I know exactly where people, what they've opened, what they looked at. I even have a scoring system that tells me who's hot and who's not, so that my sales team knows that that's who they want to go after and follow up. People who have come back to the website, who have opened up every single email we sent them. They just need a nudge. They just need a nudge. And the new tools that are out there now make it so much easier. Make it so much easier. Reach that not yet buyer who people are really, they're almost ready, but they're not ready yet. Right? This is a way, that's what my scoring system does. And then AI writes a follow-up that used to take you all afternoon. Do I use AI? Yes. But here's what I also do is that AI is now fed all of the $1 million equation. So my particular AI knows my $1 million equation. So even in, I have a referral contest, I have a reactivation, like step by step, more than this. And I've already written the prompts in there so that all you have to do is plug and play, and it will just roll everything out for you. Is that not fun? Yes, that's how we want it to work. But it's utilizing what we have now in order to supercharge what we did before. Same principle, the tools just made a machine that runs while you're sleeping. And my kid is not the one who has to put the stamps on the postcards. So literally, when she was little, she would put the stamps on the postcard because she thought they were stickers, right? I had to teach her that stamps was money, because she used to put the doggone stamps on her head. She's like, Mommy, they're stickers. I'm like, no, that's money. Do not put the stamps on your head. So here's the real fun part, is that if you do it once, it's a bump in your revenue. That's cool. But what I love to do is systematize it so that now it becomes a revenue system or a revenue engine. And that's what we're doing next week, is that I'm going to show you how to build it into a real system that works automatically. And that's what we did at the telephone company. That's why I just keep recycling the same 1,000 customers. 1,000 people paying me $1,000 equals $1 million. Easy breezy. I didn't have to have as many employees as I did before. The first time I had 52 employees. The second time I rebuilt my $1 million business, I had 6. And at one point I was down to 3. Yeah, exciting. So reactivation isn't one email, it's a system, a reason to reach out, a sequence, an offer, a trigger, catch them before quiet becomes gone. Right? That's next week, how we build the system. So you definitely want to see week 4. That's where the fun and the magic happen. So here's a real life case. I have a plumber who wanted new, right? He called me and he said, Richelle, I need new customers. Like, my revenue is flat. I'm not sure. I talked about him last week, if you remember, that his revenue was in the 600,000 range, and it really should have been in the $2.4 million range. And here was the problem. He didn't realize what he had. He wanted to buy new. Instead, we used what he had. Okay. And instead of finding new stranger, let's just use exactly what you have right now. And so we took his 8,000 customers and sent something to them. Because here's the deal. You can give a magnet to your customers that they have it sitting on their refrigerator. And when something happens, they're not thinking, go to the refrigerator and get the magnet. They're thinking, oh my God, there's poop in my shower. I need a plumber. What am I going to do? They're going to pick up this device right here, and they're going to start Googling to find, how can I find somebody? How can I find somebody? That's not what you want to happen. You want to be there, because there's no crystal ball. There's no crystal ball to say when the customer is ready. You want to be there before the customer is ready, and not with just requiring them to do anything. Okay, here's case study number 2, the 30-year eye practice. So my optometrist client Arizona's vision, exactly what we did, no magic, just the fundamentals. We segmented his list. He already had 30,000 patients. And of course, Richelle, I want new. Okay, new doesn't work. New, it takes too long to get new. How about we just go after people who hadn't come in the last 1 to 3 years? How about that? Right? We actually sent a postcard to them, same postcard 3 different times, reminding them that we were having a one day sale and to get them to come in for that 1 day sale. Repetition worked, right? Most people quit after sending it one time. The people over 3 years, we only sent an email to, because at 30,000 that can get really, really, really expensive. Okay, so the people that were in 1 to 3 years, that gave us about 5,000 on his list. Then the people over the other 25,000, they just got the email reminding them. And so we mailed it 3 times, and it actually lowered the price per piece so that we could buy 15,000 worth of the postcards. And when you buy 15,000, it got their per piece price down to almost nothing. So literally what we were paying for was the postage. At the 15,000 sent, 3 different times, it just reduced their cost amazingly. But the result was his biggest single day in practice 30-year history. Biggest day. I remember calling him. I was like, Dr. Mark, how you doing? How did the sale go? And it just like as a thing, he went, oh, Richelle, yeah, biggest day that I've ever had since we've had the practice open. What? Are you kidding me? He's like, yeah. I said, oh my gosh, right? Simple message sent to people who already knew him, who just forgot that they hadn't been in, forgot they'd missed their appointment. It was we did a progressive discount. If the more they bought, the bigger the discount that they got. And it was on a cool day, right? So we did it on 11/11. And so the discount was 11% for 1 pair, 22% for 2 pairs, 33% for 3 pairs. So instead of one person coming in, they brought the whole family so that they could get the 33%. Largest day in the 30-year history of the practice. It was just fun. So that was old school. Okay, what we did, and then how I do it today, I think is important to just really know, right? So we segmented the list by recency. We mailed the postcard. We sent it 3 different times, and we waited for them to call and come in. Okay. Here's how I would do it now is I would upload that list into Facebook as a custom audience. Then I'd run the ad, glasses out of date, can't find what you're looking for, right? Something fun. They click, visit, like, it auto triggers emails because I've already got it in the system, and it just retargets them over and over and over. And I'd use the different audiences so that now their kids will be, playing on their PlayStations. It comes on their Roku, it comes on their Apple TV, it comes everywhere so that it reminds them that 11/11 is coming up and they need to come in and take care of it. We also had a coupon that they could download so that they could bring a friend with them. That's how I would do it. I would have it so that there would be standing room only to get into my facility. But again, old school plus new school, it's the same campaign. Now it runs on every channel and it triggers itself because now we have software to do that, and it multiplies and multiplies. Like we would get 10 times the results than we did back then just by sending it. It would just be bananas. Same lesson every time. A plumber, a 30-year practice, or me rebuilding from zero, right? None of us needed new customers. We were all standing on the exact asset we were about to pay to go find somewhere else. So the old school move is go back to your people. The new school tools is do it at scale and automatically. That's my fun stuff to do, right? That's my fun. That's why I wanted to show you the case studies of what actually happened. We did get the plumber to over $1 million very, very quickly. And then, he got comfortable, which is what happens all the time. All the time. So you can't reactivate what you haven't counted. So first thing I want you to do is in the comments or in the explanation of this video, there's a scorecard and it shows you every single asset sitting in your business right there. Start there. Start there. Then come back next week and I'll show you how to turn one reactivation into a system that runs all year long. Find your assets in less than 10 minutes. That's the most fun that you're going to have in your business because you're going to know exactly how do I leverage this to get more customers and to build longevity in your business. Just remember, your list is your most valuable asset. Current customers or old ones. Use it correctly and it will transform your business. And then the last thing is remember, you're not behind. Just go use what you already